The things that you are going to keep you average unless you do this. Guys, I am a expert in this field. So what I want to do today is go through the things that are keeping you average unless you do this. And I've been on a 20-year version of how to do this, and I just want to share it with you. So, is the difference between what you do now and what is the revelation that separated you from everybody else? And I'm here to tell you, it is just daily consistent habit. But the problem is I was so stuck in my own self that I just couldn't get moved through it. So what I did is I jotted down some notes on the key distinct factors that really will separate if you really want to separate yourself from the pack. And you're tired of doing what everybody else does, and you're tired of, most importantly, getting the exact same result, this video is for you. Stop taking advice from broke people. And when I use the word broke, it's not just about money. It's about life in general, the quality of time you have with people. See, because the word broke means not only you financially broke, you're probably spiritually, mentally, and just as a person broke. I know I've been there, and we're all working on everything every day. But what you truly have to understand this is when you ask the internet, say you ask on a Facebook post, Instagram, anything like that, and then you let any keyboard warrior type in, and you actually take their comments like, how can this be? Or you got to do it like this. This is what I do. Number one, you have no idea who's giving you this information. To be honest with you, most people are highly unqualified to even give this advice. So the first thing you have to do to separate yourself from average, from just being like non-eventful, is stop taking advice from people that are broke. This goes for financial, spiritual, friends, physical. I don't care what it is. If you take advice, I have never met someone, if you ask, go to any party, go to any gathering, any family function, and go ask people for advice, you're getting it. End of story. So number one, just stop asking for it. Why do you want 5 people around you that have never, ever made much money in their life? They struggle just to get by on their own. Their ego is bigger than anything else you can find in their life, but they are so quick to tell you how to do things, everything. They tell you who you have to believe in, what religion you have to follow, what type of job you have to do, how much money you have to have in your bank account. Just stop. And not only do you stop getting advice from people that are not where you want to be, like, listen, I don't take advice from anyone unless I know for a fact they are where I want to be. End of story. I don't care whose feelings I hurt. Reality is, I have a trainer. Guess what? If I have a trainer that's out of shape, miserable, and not a fun person, I would never ever hire that person just out of common sense. Same thing with your financial advisor. If you're not better off than I am, why would I take your advice? For real estate, if you don't own more real estate than I do, or you're not like significantly more advanced than me, why would I take information from you? And honestly, I strongly believe that people should not be giving advice until they've walked the talk for 10 years plus. That's my personal opinion. Doesn't mean it's right. It's just my opinion. Why? Because after 10 years, you've pretty much proven what you're doing. And as long as they're active in their field, that's what you've got to understand with it. So please, for God's sakes, stop taking advice from people that don't do it. And honestly, they're your friends, like trying to protect you, but people just talk. And it's like, and so if someone's going to give you financial advice, you better dig in and find out if it's actually real or not. Most likely, it's just going to be their ego talking. But tell them to show your bank account. Show me all your real estate. Show me your physical attributes. Hey, you want to train me? Take your shirt off. I want to see what you look like. You see, you can't, everybody wants to be the expert and tell you what to do, but very few people actually want to go on the journey and learn how to do it. So if you don't get anything out of this video, the number one thing is stop taking advice from people that you don't want to walk a mile in their shoe. End of story. If they're broke, why would you ever take advice from them? If they don't have a great marriage or a relationship, I probably wouldn't take advice from them either. If their kids aren't happy with the relationship, I'm not taking parenting advice. And everybody has to do this. Who, whatever lane it is in your life, start taking inventory and see if these people are actually going to help you move the needle in you. Otherwise, just be like every average person, go around your parties and your family events and just bitch and whine about everything. Because that's what losers do. They just whine, they cry, they want to be a victim, and they don't want to fix anything. Why? It's just easier. And then more people can commiserate. I'm telling you, don't do this. Be part of the solution, not the problem. Yes, I'm wearing glasses today. Like, actually, I wear contacts normally, so they kind of flared up. So I didn't have time to switch them over. So sorry about the reflection. It is what it is. So yeah, I'm blind as a bat. Now you know. Okay. So My next one, which every one of you guys watching this, including me, at some point we're all guilty of this, and you know exactly what I'm going to put up here. Just stop trying to look rich. It is a plague on the internet. It's like, if you think I can show you my car, my house, the people I hang out with, my dog, you're kidding yourself. See, in America, we suffer from one of the worst diseases in the world. It's called I want to look rich. And everybody talks a huge game. Honestly, guys, this is a plague. It's so bad. And it's not even real estate specific. All somehow real estate gurus have really taken this to the next level. I don't know why a real estate guru thinks sitting by their nice car is a sign of their wealth. You've got to be kidding me. If you think someone's car is the net determination if you're going to work with them or not, you are playing right into the system. Cars are rapidly depreciating assets. They're actually a really poor choice to buy. I'm not saying you can't buy a nice car, but like if you're going to let someone's car be the sole value of their net worth, boy, there's a lot of things that can be sold to you in life. So I'm a big boat guy, honestly. A boat under like $800,000 is a cheap boat to me. But people will buy $100,000 car, and you guys are just like, God, look at this car. Cars are a joke. I'm sorry. They're a rapidly depreciating asset. It doesn't even like regular people can buy the cars because anyone will finance anything. If you think a Corvette's impressive, a BMW, a Mercedes, like seriously, guys, let it go. It is the dumbest thing you can do, in my opinion. It's not going to make you any more wealthy. It's going to make you, I guess, look wealthy to the untrained eye. And honestly, when I look at it a fool. If you think you're going to buy that car to trick other people to buy your course, you're a moron. Sorry. People's car, guys. I have a Honda and a Ford. Sorry. That's my what I guess that's my wealth status. My cars are all paid off. I don't drive flashy cars. I used to be in the car business. I hate cars. Like they bore the crap out of me. You want to impress me? Go get $1 million basic fishing boat. Just $1 million. And guys, $1 million like is even that's still a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But like to me, it's like I look at boat like, and so when people look at $100,000 cars like it's a lot, it's ridiculous. So most of them owe it. Almost everybody who owns a Lamborghini, other than some of the ultra wealthy, they're all like renting them, leasing them. And the biggest sign you're about to get your clock cleaned in real estate is when somebody flashes their Lamborghini. Okay. So $300,000 or $400,000 car, more impressive, but it is one of the worst investments you can ever make. So why would you take, so the only person, a person who's going to buy that and put it all over the internet, and they got to put it everywhere, or the person who's got the $50,000 watch. Let's talk about that once. Although I do like watches. I don't flash watches because I like watches because they actually appreciate. So I don't really have a problem with the watch, so to speak, but the car, you got to be kidding me, right? Put 300 grand in a car, you put it all over the internet. I guarantee that person has something to sell you because they want you to think he or she is rich. How do I do it? I show you an asset I can't afford. They can't afford it because they all get them repoed and stuff like that. I can go through a list of 15 people that have Lamborghinis that were in the wholesaling space that no longer have a Lamborghini anymore. I find it kind of funny. So anyways, stop trying to look rich. And what you want to do is replace this, and you want to learn how to actually become rich. And becoming rich and looking rich are the completely opposite actions. Completely opposite actions. In America, we're plagued with people who I just want to look rich. I want to look so rich so I can impress my friends and my neighbors. And honestly, you just get on this hamster wheel and you're just going to be broke forever. If you want to become rich, do the first step. Stop trying to look rich. It's disgusting. Okay. The next thing, this is one that you have to stop doing immediately. Stop seeking acceptance from everybody. You're never going to get it. It's never going to work. And you are just masking bigger problems in your life. Honestly, if you have committed to wholesaling and this is what you want to do, you have to just go out and get it. You are going to piss other people off. Sorry. You're going to get realtors upset. You're going to get other wholesalers upset. You're going to get some sellers upset because you're trying to get them to make a decision, but that's how life goes. And the people that want to make everybody happy, which used to be me, you just make yourself miserable. You can't do it. It's physically impossible. God did not put us on earth here to make everybody happy. And as much as everybody wants to avoid confrontation and awkward conversations, to actually truly get wealth, you actually have to lean into those types of conversations and go after them. And you're going to ruffle feathers. But honestly, I'd rather you ruffle feathers and get ahead and get financially free and freedom of your own time, as opposed to trying to make everybody happy. It's just not going to happen. The sooner you accept this one, the much easier life's going to be. So Okay, here's a big one. We always talk about assets and liabilities. I'm not here to tell you the difference. Most of you guys are very sharp on here. Most people are out there buying liabilities and they're buried in it. Yes, your own home is a liability. Unless it pays you, it is a liability. That's just how life works. Is it an investment towards your future? Possibly, but we don't know because most of you put way too much money into your homes. You put too much crap into it and you're too attached to it. And that's one of your problems because all that pure customization, you're not getting all that money back out of your house. Ask me how I know because I've sold a lot of my own houses. So you have to understand you need to learn how to buy assets that pay you. So if I buy a boat and then I finance, got to make payments, that's a liability. The car's a liability. But if I buy a piece of commercial property or maybe even a single family house for rental, that's an asset that pays me. And once you understand the distinction on how cash works, you don't have to sit there and play this game because most of us try to tell, oh, I'm buying a really nice boat. It's an asset. Guys, listen, I love boats, but they're a sinking money pit. You're never going to get back what you paid into it. The cost to run it is usually terrible. And they are a liability from an insurance standpoint and from an operation standpoint. And when you're all said and done, you're going to sell it probably for about half what you paid for it. But if you get enjoyment out of it like I do, then have fun with it. But you want to find things that pay you when you buy them. And it's painful because I put down $100,000 downstrokes all the time on real estate. And even though the $100,000, it's a capital contribution. I eventually will get my payoff back, but I have to make investments and I have to do it now. So which leads me to the next thing. If you're going to commit to buying assets versus liabilities, let's talk about this real quick. You ready? Just stop buying stupid stuff. You listen, you guys know Christmas is coming up. And trust me, I used to be a guy who we buy the stupidest gifts. You know exactly what I'm meaning. Most people don't need it. Honestly, the best gift you could give someone over the holidays is your time. Just spend time with people. I get it. We'd have to buy gifts to a point. But a lot of times you guys buy gifts based on what you think the other person needs. The reality is people need help with stuff. They need time. Honestly, they need money. And so, but when you buy them like a painting or something that doesn't bring them a lot of use, they got to hang it on the wall. Honestly, did you really help them out or did it just make you feel better? And if we could relook at how we give people gifts, it would be eye opening. But like the next time you guys buy a Mr. Pillow from Mr. Pillow, whatever his name is, like it's just like, I don't care what the fabric count is on any of that stuff. At the end of the day, it's really not going to make that big of a difference. So if you're like me and you've got closets loaded up with, I've got foot massagers, I think I've used once. I've got like massage stuff. I got more crap in my house, just like the rest of you. And I look around, there's probably $2,000 sitting there with just wasted money. Imagine if that 2 grand was actually invested in you, your development, or things you could actually use in your business, or more important, cash in your bank account. It says so much more. So we are a society that's very impulsive. You all fall for all the ridiculous advertising on TV, the internet, everything. So start asking yourself, especially when it comes to buying for yourself and your household and your family, do I really need this piece of crap right now? Because the reality is it's not going to make you happy in the long run. I've bought everything. I'm just telling you, it is a temporary fix. Don't get me wrong, but for the most part, it's not going to change your certain parameters. So I want you to, if we just stop buying crap, like amazing things can happen. So it's a big one. You just got to learn to love yourself. So if you're not going to buy crap, you're not going to depend on other people. You got to actually learn to be okay with yourself. And I'm not giving you a self-love class here. I'm just telling you, if you can't sit in a room and like hang out with yourself, read a book, or even watch a show, you constantly got to seek somebody else out to like keep your time occupied. You've got to like change it around. Go read a good monk book or go talk to a very seasoned monk. Do you know they spend years out in the woods with no electronics, very, very few creature comforts, just the clothes on their back and like a thin little sack to sleep on. And they learn how to be happy with themselves. And then the key that monks will teach you is if you can learn to be happy with yourself, everything in life is a gift. And you don't have to seek outside approval. And that's one of the keys to life that us Americans just can't, we're always seeking. Everything you need is within inside you. No one's taught you how to use the tools, the meditations, the relaxation. Remember, stuff's going to happen in life. The only thing you need to determine is how you're going to react to it. And your reaction is everything. You can't stop the rain from coming down, but you can react to how you're going to respond to a rainy day. And honestly, the more you can find within, the easier life gets. Because the crazy part is God just gave us this vessel and that apparently nobody got the instructions. It's all you really need, yourself and other people, and everything else is a luxury and a gift. And if you look at it like that, it is so much easier to get through life and get through your day and actually find enjoyment and fulfillment in it. So if you struggle with this, learn how to be, let's see here. How did that happen? You just got to learn how to be grateful to other people. My mouse died. Yeah, it died. No biggie. I can use the hand thing. Okay. Next thing. If you do not want to be average, and this one is non negotiable, you got to learn to read, learn. You got to learn the material you read, and you just got to never stop. To be honest with you, I wasn't a big reader, and I just decided one day it's the most efficient way to learn the most knowledge, especially about things you don't completely understand. So I figured out money very fast in books. Real estate was a huge help with books, endless amount of books, thousands. And I always have 2 to 3 books that I'm either reading or I'm attacking. I have a basically a waiting list of books. So if you don't have a waiting list of books, what I'd like you to do is just get excited and go find a topic that you really want to spend time with. And this is going to help you learn to be within yourself. It's going to teach you how to learn. And honestly, I love it because a book is like going into another person's mind. Like you can just I feel everything when I read a book and I enjoy it. Some I read fast, some I read slow. It all depends. Like a book I'm reading right now is it's Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. Now, there's multiple interpretations. I believe J something is the one I'm reading, but I love to study Stoicism because I think it's very relevant to the times we're in, and I love it, man. So it's like it's all about men being men, and they talk about Roman times and the Colosseum, and you guys know I love UFC and stuff like that. But they had to make some very hard decisions back then, some just crazy stuff, and I find Stoicism all these Senecas, Marcus Aurelius, all of them from 2,000 years ago, they have so much to teach us. So you guys, you can find books like this. It can be on anything. There's a lot of great real estate books out there, but I love anything with the mind. One of my favorite books that really opened me up to life was Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within. I think it was just under 600 pages. And I thought it was one of the neatest books I ever read in my life. And honestly, that's what catapulted me to start reading books like crazy. And if you're not doing this, it's okay. But I'm telling you, something happens when you read a book. I can't quite explain it. And I like it because if you're waiting for a flight at an airport, great time to read a book. If you're stuck somewhere, great time to read a book. And if you're sitting around your house waiting for someone to pick you up, a great time to read a book. You can gain so much knowledge by the dead time as opposed to playing a video game or worse, just going around on social media aimlessly. I like a book because it gives me direction. There should be an outcome. Not all books wind up being great, and that's the kind of cool part about it. And I read through them voraciously, and the books I really like, I order them on hardback, and I put them in my library. And I eventually show you guys in my Flip with Rick studio all the books I have just on business and real estate. But honestly, that is the smallest part of my library. The biggest part of the library is always going to be on your mind. So I've read a lot of books on meditations. I'm fascinated by meditations because for me, having ADHD is much more challenging for me to do it. So I really, really had to study and understand how to do the skill set because if you're like me and you have thoughts racing through your head all the day, it's hard for me to slow it down and then just like let thoughts go by. And ADHD, we almost feel the need to respond to every thought. And it's one of the handicaps of how I do this. So reading books like that, and the funny part is I'm reading a book on ADHD right now, and I'm having a tough time finishing it. I know it's ironic. I think it's just under 500 pages. It's so in depth. It's a little bit more in depth than what I wanted, but it helps me. I granularly identify the type of ADHD I have, and then hopefully I can help out other people who have mine same condition. But I didn't want my wife and my son coming out to me. He's like, Dad got a book on ADHD and he couldn't finish. It would be like front headlines like everywhere. So it's kind of funny that we bring that up. So the next one I'm going to post up here is probably going to be the most important one. I preach it like crazy. I'm never going to change. And honestly, this is probably my biggest realization and what's allowed me to avoid being average. Because here's what 95% of average people do, okay? They ego it. And until you drop your ego now, you have in my opinion, to be a very, very high level wholesaler. And definitely if you want to avoid being average, you got to lose your ego. Because most people, the minute they get stressed or the minute they feel challenged, their ego takes over And what is your ego? Ego is short for edging God out. I heard that acronym. I didn't make it up, but it's true. It's just you're always trying to one up. And here's the things I know about your ego. It's extremely selfish. It's there to feed you. It's there to be like your mirror to make you look the way you think you are. Okay. It is your mask. It is your cover. It's who you think you are. The reality is you're not. And your ego has this ability to make you right, even in the most wrong situation as possible. Your ego does not listen to other people, not only being selfish, it is always going to be a right at any cost. So I have no idea why we have an ego. I assume there's some sort of underlying mechanism for it. But the sooner you can lose your ego, especially in wholesaling, just the better things are going to be. The minute I see someone feeding their ego, I don't acknowledge them anymore. Like, because I know they're just feeding their ego. They don't want to fix the problem. They just want to be right. And once they want to be right, they don't listen to anybody else. They want to look like the superstar and they want to feel important. That's fine. Go ahead. I'll let you win this moment, but like I'm not doing business with you. So I'm going to win the battle. I'm going to win the war. You can win the battle. And that's all egos allow you to do. If you don't find a way to bury your ego is what everybody does on social media. I'm perfect. This is me. Look at me. Look how good I am. That's your ego. That's your ego trying to one up everybody so you can look better. You're not better than anybody else. I'm not better than anyone else. I never thought I was. And honestly, I remind myself every day by being humble and just burying my ego. I can't stand ego. Drives me freaking nuts. Okay, we're moving along here. So this is a statement I always teach you guys, and this is going to be particular to wholesaling. So if something is easy now, I want you to know it's most likely a trap. How do I know this? I'll give you a couple examples. I'll give you my football example. When I used to play high school football, when I was a defensive lineman, my job was to try to get the quarterback or the runner. And every now and then, the guy lined up in front of me, he would pull sideways, called a pulling guard. I would go through. I could see the quarterback. I go, oh my God, I'm going to get a sack. My coach is going to be so proud of me. The fans are going to go crazy. And I go to reach for that quarterback, and I had no idea there's a 250-pound man coming at full speed, and it's going to blindside me. It's a trap. They made it seem easy so they could block me much easier. And the same thing happens when something sounds super easy in real estate or wholesaling. Let me give you an example. Tell you what, I have a course that will show you not only on how to go on an MLS, how to write the contracts, how to do everything, get deep discounted properties, and you don't have to deal with all the other crap the wholesalers have to do. How's that sound to you? Sign up for my course and I'll get that done for you. It's a trap, guys. Why? It sounds perfect on paper. Honestly, if it was that easy, I would be doing that all day long. The reality is it sounds good in theory. It will never work in reality. And when it's super easy up front, you pay people, you make it, and you commit to it. And then 3 to 6 months later, guess what? It's brutally hard. It's so hard you don't even want to do it anymore. It doesn't work. And now you got to start all over and find a program that's actually going to work for you. And you fell for the old trap. If it's super easy now, it's going to be 10 times harder at the end. Wholesaling is absolutely no different. So think about this. You've got to do the opposite, right? This goes with anything in life. Let's face it, guys. If it's super easy, you should almost be going like, what's the catch? How am I getting screwed here? The reality is, if it's hard now and you can actually do the work, it will actually be easier in the long term in life. Let me give an example on wholesaling. We teach you to go to off-market properties, direct the seller, and find sellers that are motivated. And I'm here to tell you, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. It takes a lot of work. You got to spend a lot of time and energy, and you got to spend money. Not everybody has to spend money, but you're going to spend gas money or whatever it is. And then you get so frustrated because it's so hard up front. But I tell you, if you can find that seller, get that property under contract, the rest of the transaction is so easy. It's really easy to sell to your cash buyers. But if you buy all these other guru systems, they make it sound so simple up front, it's going to be brutal at the end. You're never going to find a cash buyer. Your cash buyers are going to laugh you. They're going to laugh you off the phone and go, what are you thinking? Like, you way overpaid for that property, Rick. Well, he told me, yeah. Where is he now? Oh, he's gone. Oh, they charge you $3,000, $5,000. I get it. Telling you guys, if you do the hard work up front in life, things are easier. Example, if you eat right, you exercise regularly, and you do the hard work, it's much easier to sit on your couch and flick through your remote and do nothing. Or you put in 1,000 cold calls, you rip through them in a couple of days, and you just keep working through it. Once you get leads flowing, or once you get slimmed down and you get the energy to lift anything you want, it's going to make your life easier on the back end. It is no different in wholesaling. It's the exact same thing. So if it seems super easy up front, you probably got sold a bill of goods and you've been lied to, and you probably just parted with some money. And if you want to figure out really how to do it, go over to freewholesaling.com. I'll teach you how to do it, but you're going to have to do the hard stuff up front. And that's just the truth on how it works out. So, okay, we're almost done here. Let's see. Here's a big one. And I'm someone wholesaling bias is I'm wholesaling bias. Stop trying to time your start and just get started. Listen, if you can't time the stock market, you can't time the bond market, you can't time the crypto market. Why on earth do you guys think you can time the real estate market? You see, when it comes to wholesaling, you don't have to worry about timing it because you're buying property on discounted values today. You don't do what fix and flippers and landlords do. You're not reliant on the market to bring you the money. You actually go out and you find motivated sellers and you make money today. What the market does, okay, it's going up, it's going down. I adjust my marketing equally on both sides. But here's the key, I never stop. And so if you're going to be a good stock investor, the key is you just got to keep investing in stock. Even during this down market, I don't stop investing. I just keep going because what goes up always goes down. So if I buy Tesla at 250 and it goes down to 220, you think I'm selling right? I don't care. Because you know why? I think it's going to go to 800. And I'm willing to wait the 2 to 3 years to get it there because I'm a patient investor. Now, that's my strategy, my discipline for stocks, but I have to let the market reward me and do that. When doing wholesaling in real estate, you're learning to make money today. You do not have to time anything. Okay. An investor that has to time the market is weak and they don't understand how real estate works. Because if you buy real estate right and you have the right strategy, you should make money in all phases of it. See, a speculator has to depend on the market to mostly make their money. Right now, fix and flippers are panicking on the properties they fixed up because now they're dealing with 7.5% and 8% interest rates. And guess what? They can't fix it. The market's in control of it, and the market is going to have pullback over it. And they're going to have to pay for additional closing costs, buy down the interest rates to induce sellers to go in this market. They never saw that going into it when they bought that wholesale deal from you. And this is why I implore you, wholesaling is the single greatest skill set you can learn in real estate investing, hands down. You don't believe me? Go ask a realtor, a landlord, or a fix and flipper to try wholesaling. Every one of them's tried it and every one of them's failed, and they will always fail because it's a skill set that the average person just cannot attain. It's not easy. Now, do it the other way around. Piece of cake for any wholesaler to do that. Why would a wholesaler want to go into speculation market? Crazy. So if you think, well, I'm going to wait till the beginning of 2024 or summer 2024, it's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Wholesaling is about getting in there, getting your hands and feet wet, dirty, and start talking to sellers. The more sellers you talk to, the more opportunities you have, and the better you're going to come experienced at it. If you wait, you just delay the inevitable. So timing when you enter the real estate market, especially as a wholesaler, is ridiculous. Average people try to time stuff. People that actually, they just do it. They don't care. Like, I have a strategy that's going to run through the market. And that's how I look at wholesaling. My market is just what my in cash buyers are going to pay for it. And it's going to be significantly more than I ever paid for the property. So you got to keep that in mind. Okay, ready? Winners fail fast and often. Guys, you will not get ahead in life. If you want to protect yourself from any type of failure, which, listen, I don't want to fail either, but the amount of times I failed in the last 20 years it's almost embarrassing. Like, I've had some real bad fails, guys. And here's what you got to understand. Everybody I've ever met that's made, anyone who's had a significant difference in life, meaning they have prolific businesses, they've done just amazing things, they've all have the same story. They took tremendous risk. Now, the type of risk you take is debatable. But here's one thing is, we know we're not getting out of here alive. Yeah, I know. I just told you that, right? Number two, you might as well go all in whatever you're going to do, because playing it safe is not going to get you anywhere. You see, if you can look at life, if you're judging life by the number of days you stay alive, as opposed to the number of days you've lived, honestly, you know which one I'd rather do. I'm counting my life by the number of days I live. If you live to be 100 and you never took a risk in your life, you're just going to die with so many regrets. What's the point? So I want to take as much calculated risk that's going to give me the highest reward. Have I struck out? Yeah, I've done some really stupid things, guys. But the thing is, this is how you learn and you grow. I did fix and flip for a while. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made. I'm glad I got it out of the way. I opened up a software company once. I lost a lot of money. I'm glad I got that out of the way. It goes on and on. I bought properties where I lost money. The only time I lost money is when I didn't do wholesaling. So I just want you to understand, am I a landlord? Yes. Do I dislike tenants? I don't physically dislike them. They just annoy the crap out of me. Like I have to have people managing my properties because I don't have patience for some people and it drives me nuts. So, what I'm saying is, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to fail. The problem is, we've been brought up in this world where you're not supposed to fail a test, you're not supposed to fail at anything, everything's got to be perfect. It's ridiculous. The greatest inventors in the world have failed often, and sometimes people fail with bankruptcy. Look at Walt Disney. I can go down the slew of things. I rather you take more risk and try stuff in life than be that safe average Joe that sits there and never takes a risk on anything. You know those people. Oh, everything's a scam. No, you can do diligence. Not everything's a scam. You think everything's a scam that doesn't fit in the matrix of your 9 to 5 job, and you are in the biggest scam of them all. And if you want to think like that way, just stay over there. I really don't care. So, next one, just stop holding on to your old ways. And the reason I put this one out there is because when I first started wholesaling, I had a personality. It didn't just disappear. I had tendency. Now, I adapted the new business strategy, but my old personality traits quickly came out and I constantly felt like I was being tugged. And the minute I got like very uncomfortable or stressed, I would do things to revert back to my old self, go back to my old drinking buddies. I would watch football and I would do time wasting activities. And none of that stuff got me anywhere. It took me about 6 months to grasp the concept that my old self, I'm just going to kill off. We had fun. We were great in high school. We even did good as a young adult. Heck, I even got married and had kids with that old self of me, but it wasn't going any further. I had to upgrade myself. Now, along the way, here's the truth. You're going to change your house. You're like, oh my God, I'm losing my house. Your house is going to get so much nicer. You're going to be happy about this. The change is actually really good things. Your bank accounts are massively going to change. Instead of have 1 or 2 accounts, you're going to have 16 accounts that are just loaded with so much money. You're trying to use accountants and CPAs to figure out where to put the money so you don't pay this tremendous tax bill. Everything upgrades in life, your friends, your family. You are going to lose some old people and you're going to find out who is really out there for you because all of a sudden people start cheerleading for you when you make it. But when you weren't making it, they just tore you down. Don't forget that stuff and keep it in mind. But remember, you're going to have to kill the old version of yourself because if you use that same vision from your old self into your new wholesaling career, it's going to hold you back massively. And honestly, this is probably one of my biggest struggles. And everyone's like, you're changing. You're not like, and I was, and it was a good thing. Remember, change is good. Change is the one steady thing in life you can depend on. You have to decide if you're going to be the person of change to bring prosperity to your family, to bring financial abundance, to give your family all the time in the world, to buy plenty of real estate, whatever you want. Or you can be the type of person that just wants to keep everything the same. And we all know the family and friends. Don't change anything. Don't change anything. And I'm just telling you, it will never work. So last but not least, this is an important one. You got to let it go. Everybody watching this live stream, it's like you're going to go, oh my God, Rick's got ESP. You all are holding on to stuff in your past and it's not serving you in the slightest. And you're holding grudges and you're blaming yourself. Maybe you tried wholesaling years ago and you failed at it, or like you just bought a bad deal and it became a problem and it burned you the bad way. And because of that, I'm not going to wholesale anymore because it's a scam. And if you're going to let something from your past dictate everything you do going forward, you're going to be in trouble. So there is a saying called let it go. There's a book by a wonderful man called Michael Singer. It's a very simple read. I mean, it's literally like a 3-hour read. And it teaches you whatever happened previous to the day or before, or that stuff that you're just burying in your soul. You're letting people live rent-free in your head. Just let it go. If you let it go, you can move forward in life. What happened to you yesterday or when you were a child should not affect you the rest of your life. And if you are, it means you're living in the past. And if you're living in the past, that means you're really not looking towards the future and you can't build a future for you. So you've got to rectify what's happened in the past. The easiest way to rectify problems with people or issues is just let it go. If you don't give it any more energy, it dies. It goes away. And trust me, it took me a long time to grasp this concept. If you struggle with this, check out Michael Singer's book. It's a real simple book, University of Florida, and he's got tons of credentials to show you how to do it. And if you want, there's much more advanced books on the strategy. But once you understand that if you're going to, so think about this. if your life is nothing more than your emotions and feelings, right? So when something happens, you get a feeling from that. And from that feeling, you invoke an emotion. An emotion's like a memory of a feeling. And so if you get a bad feeling from something that happened, every time that event comes up, your emotions go sour when you get it up there. And then if you constantly relive it, it means you're not growing. It just means you're just looping in the past and you're never going to get past it. And just hearing the version, just let it go. Like honestly, if you're pissed off that your brother or your sister, or your mom or dad did something like to you like 5 years ago, and you're still thinking about it every day, and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, it is taking so much energy out of your head and it's not letting you move forward. Just let it go. I'm just telling you, life is full. You're not going to memorize everything. Not every event's going to be perfect, but all you need to do is learn the lesson from it and move forward. See, if you don't learn the lesson from what happens to you in life, you can't move forward. And that's why you guys harbor on things. I remember when I was really young and I went out for wrestling the first time, I was a very explosive wrestler, but I wasn't very skilled. And so I would power my opponent and I get close to pinning. And if I didn't pin him, I ran out of gas. Well, in one of my first matches, I got pinned because I ran out of gas. And I let that bother me. I can't tell you how many years I let that harbor to me as a child, as a young adult, and even into my business career. And I was just like, I didn't get the lesson. And the lesson is you need to be more prepared. Stop thinking, like, stop running with your ego. And once you understand this, it's going to change the trajectory of life. When you let stuff go, you release energy so you can actually do good things. And like you have it. But if you constantly harbor something that's very negative in your life, it's very hard to wrap your head around it. And you constantly obsess about it and you can't move forward. Some of you guys actually do this in wholesaling. So listen, if a guru burnt you, then join the club. I've been burnt. We've all been burnt by him. And it's not just in wholesaling, it's in life in general. Why? Because people fake it. They want to take advantage of it. And honestly, they don't get the lessons of life. And that's why they're doomed to repeat the exact same mistakes. Just don't be that person. If you want to learn more on how to do it, check out Michael Singer's book. It just, to me, it's a very practical, simple book. Let it go. And you can also go on YouTube and teach yourselves ways to unwind. If you find yourself constantly obsessing about something that's happened in your past and you can't get past of it, the best medicine is just to let it go. It's one of the hardest things to mentally do, but if you do it, I'm just telling you, really neat things will happen in your life. So